students, welcome to the online session or the subject of structural analysis. This subject of structural analysis is mainly for the student of structural engineering. Basically, in design of any kind of a structure, first of all, analysis is required to be done. If the analysis of the structure is done properly, then the design of the structure can be done properly. So basically, we can say that structural analysis is very important subject for the structural engineering students. So let's start with this important subject of structural analysis. So 3, 2, 1. Let's start. Hello students, let's start with our session. Basically, the topics that we are going to discuss in these sessions are example of a beam. We are going to discuss the degree of redundancy of the plane truss. We are going to see the difference between the truss and the frame. We are also going to have a brief discussion on the statically determinate truss. At the same time, we are also going to discuss the types of trusses. At the end of this session, we will be also performing an example of plane truss, that is peak jointed. So these are all the points that we are going to discuss in particular this session. Let's start with our first topic. First of all, you can see over here that there is a beam over here. You can see a horizontal beam whose both ends are fixed. You can see over on the left side and on the right side. You can see that the beam is connected with the fixed support. It is being fixed support at both the ends. And in the middle of the beam, in the middle of the span of the beam, you can see that there is a roller support. There is a roller support. Okay. Now, on one side, between the fixed support and the roller, you can see a pin. And on the another side, between the roller support and the fixed support, you can see an internal roller. Okay. So it is also being written over here that wherever the internal roller is there, it is being designated in the figure. Okay. A similar kind of thing is also being done for a pin. So this is the all arrangement that is being done. Further solving this sum, basically, for any kind of a beam, in the previous session we have discussed that the degree of static indeterminacy will be equal to R minus R. Capital R minus small r, where capital R is the number of reaction components and small r is the number of condition of equation that are being available. Okay. So seeing the figure, there are mainly 3 supports. Okay. Out of 3 supports, 2 are fixed support and 1 is the roller support. So for a fixed support, the reaction will be 3, that is the horizontal reaction, vertical reaction and the rotation. Similar kind of a reaction is also available for the another fixed support. And the third one, talking about the roller support, the reaction that is being available for a roller support will be only the vertical reaction. So calculating the capital R for this particular figure, it will be equal to 3 plus 3 plus 1. That means the capital R value for a given beam will be equal to 7. You can see over here. Yes. The capital R is 7. Now talking about the condition, number of condition of equations that are being available. So basically, for any beam, the small r value will be equal to 3. But we can see over here that there is a pin. Okay. So what we will do, we will be having we will have a formula for this pin. Means it will be equal to number of members connected to that pin minus number of pin. Okay. So basically here we can see that 2 horizontal members are being connected with a single pin. So there it will be equal to 2 minus 1. Okay.
So there will be an addition to the number of equations that are available. Okay. At the same time, you also see another roller. So basically, whenever the internal roller are being provided, it will be acting as the link, and it will be providing the two extra conditions. Okay. So basically, here in the figure we have only one internal roller. So because of this internal roller, two extra condition of equations will be available. Okay. So based on that, the small r value will be equal to 3 plus 1 for one pin and plus 2 for the internal roller. So cumulatively, the smaller value for this figure, this particular beam figure will be equal to 6. Okay. So yes, ds will be equal to 3 plus 1 plus 3, that is 7, that is the total reaction available from the figure, minus number of condition of equation available, and that is equal to 6. So after solving this addition and subtraction, finally the degree of static indeterminacy that we are getting for this beam is 1. Based on that, we can say that a given beam is an indeterminate beam to the first degree. So this is how we can find the degree of static indeterminacy for a beam. Okay. So this is the kind of an example, and this was a critical example. This involves all kind of difficulties that can be involved in a beam. So for that purpose, I have made this problem solved to you. Okay. So yes, moving toward the next topic, that is the degree of redundancy for a plane truss. So now for a plane truss, basically a truss which is composed of links or bars assumed to be connected by a frictionless pins at the joints. Basically in truss, all the joints are pin joints and basically arranged so that the area enclosed within the boundaries of the structure is subdivided by the bars into geometrical figure. Usually these are triangles. This is how the truss is being composed. If all the members of the truss lies in one, all the members of the truss are lying in one plane, then it is called a plane truss. Means if it is x and it is y, both two axes. So if all the members are lying in these two axes only, then we can say that this is a plane truss. But if the members of the truss lies in all the three dimensions, that is in x direction also, in y direction also, and in z direction also. So whenever such kind of conditions, or we can say that whenever such kind of arrangements are there for a truss, then such kind of truss will be kept under the category of the space truss. Okay. Further, if a plane truss or a space truss, the loads are applied, then the loads are applied at the joints only. It is not like that we are applying the loads wherever we need it. Mainly the loads will be applied at the joint only. And because of that only, we can say that in a truss there will be either a tension or a compression, because the loads are applied at the joints. Okay. Further discussing this, the member of the truss are subjected to only axial force. As I have said earlier, either the compressive force will be acting onto it or the tensile force will be acting on it. So this is an important thing for a truss. And at each joint of a plane truss, two equilibrium conditions are available. Only two equilibrium conditions are available. That is, summation of all the forces in horizontal direction will be equal to 0, and summation of all the forces in the vertical direction will be equal to 0. There will not be any kind of a summation M, because in the truss the joints are pin joints, so there is no possibility of the occurrence of the moments. So because of that only, there is no summation of M equal to 0. There will be only two conditions, that is summation of H is equal to 0 and summation of V equal to 0. Okay. Now let's have a difference. Let's discuss the difference between the truss and the frame. Before starting with the frame, let's see the difference between the truss and the frame. Basically, a truss is composed of a links of a straight bars assumed to be connected by frictionless pins at the joints. Basically, this line says that in a truss, all the joints are pin joints. But at a frame, basically the frame is kind of a structure which is composed of links or straight bars and that are connected at the ends by the rigid joints. And because of this, we can say that because of these rigid joints, there will be occurrence of the moment in the frame. But in case of a truss, all the joints are pin joints. There is no possibility of the occurrence of the moment. So this was a first difference between the frame and the truss. Moving toward the next difference, that is in truss, mainly the force are applied at the joint only. Okay, but at the same time, talking about the frame, the forces may act at any point, at any section in a frame. And because of this, the moments are also being occurred. Okay. Members in the truss are subjected to axial force only because the loads are acting at the joints only. So basically, because of these joints only, either the tensile force or the compressive force will be acting in the truss members. And because of this, we can say that there are all axial force acting in the truss. But talking about the frame, the members are subjected to axial force also, shear force also, and also to the moment. Because loads are acting at any point, any section, the joints also, in the mid span also, at the quarter span also, or at the 1/4 portion also, at any location. And because of this property, the moments are also being taken place in the frame. So yes, these are all the difference. Talking about further more difference between the truss and the frame, physically, in a member of a truss, all the members in the truss experiences the deformation in further axial compression or tension in which. Basically, deformation will be because of this tensile force or the compressive force only. But talking about the frame, the members of the frame have significant deformation in the form of flexural and the axial deformation. Because the moment is also being taking place, the shear force is also acting, axial force are also acting. And because of this, there will be a deformation in the form of a flexure also, and at the same time axial deformation will be also taking place in the frame. Okay. Further discussing the differences, the member in the truss subdivides the structure into geometrical figures, that is basically a triangular figure. Okay. But in frame also, the members are subdividing the overall structure into small geometry, and which are usually rectangle, not a triangle as what truss have. So yes, these are all the main difference that is in between the truss and the frame. Okay. Further discussing statically determinate truss. Now, a truss in which unknowns can be determined by an equilibrium equation alone. Only the equilibrium equations are very much sufficient to find the unknown force. Then, in such kind of truss will be said to be a statically determinate truss. Okay. The necessary conditions for a statically determinate truss is the given below formula, that is m is equal to 2j minus r. This condition is required to be satisfied so that the truss will be statically determinate structure. Now let's see what are the m, r and j means. Basically, m is the number of members, j is the number of joints, and small r is as usual the number of condition of equilibrium available. Now let's discuss the different type of trusses. So basically, the trusses are being classified into two categories, that is the perfect truss and the imperfect truss. Means when m is equal to 2j minus r, then if on the left hand side, that is m, and 2j minus r, both the values are being equal, then we can say that our truss is a determinate and stable truss. But if the M is not equal to 2j minus r, then such kind of truss will be considered to be an imperfect truss. Now, there is a further subdivision of the imperfect truss. Let's see what are they. Imperfect truss is being classified into further two categories, that is a deficient truss and the redundant truss. When M is lesser than 2j minus r, then such kind of truss will be considered to be a deficient truss. And if M is greater than 2j minus r, then it will be a redundant truss. Make sure the deficient truss will be definitely a structure that is always unstable. But at the same time, the redundant truss will be a structure that is being stable and statically indeterminate. Basically, for a truss, the formula to find the DSI will be equal to M plus R minus 2J. You can see a figure over here. It is a pin jointed plane truss. Okay. So basically, it is having three supports. One is the roller support. The second one is also roller support, and the third one is the pin support. Okay. Now you can see that what are the reactions that are being available at the supports. Okay. So let's solve this sum. Basically, the total number of members from the figure will be equal to 60. You can count from the figure. Mainly the members will be equal to 60. The number of joints here will be equal to 9. Reactions capital R, that is we are getting from the figure, will be 4. So basically the pin support is being giving the 2 reactions. The rollers, both the rollers are giving 1 reaction. So cumulatively we are getting the value of capital R equal to 4. And basically the condition of equilibrium equations that are being available are 3. So here the external static indeterminacy of the plane truss will be equal to capital R minus small r. It is 4 minus 3, that is equal to 1. Okay, so we can say that the structure is stable, indeterminate, the first case. Now talking about the internal indeterminacy of a structure. So for that purpose, we have a formula that we have been discussed in the previous slide. That is M plus R minus 2J. Number of members are also involved, number of joints are also involved, and number of equations that are being available are also involved. So number of members is 16. Condition of equilibrium equation that are available is 3. Number of joints is 9. We just have to put all this formula into this formula. 16 plus 3 minus 2 into 9. So basically we are getting the indeterminacy, internal indeterminacy at first stage. So basically the final static indeterminacy of the truss will be equal to DSE plus DSI. So in both the DSE also we are getting one value, and in DSI also we are getting the one value. So we just have to add both these values, and finally we can say that our structure is indeterminate to the second. Okay, so we are doing up to this only in this session. Thank you.
So here we are ending our session. Hope you have liked the session. We have discussed each and every topic in brief and also in detail. We have discussed each and every topic's practical application also. So thank you for attending the session. And if you have any kind of a doubt, if you have any kind of a query, then you can send me your doubts and queries in mail. My mail is in my YouTube channel. Do check into my YouTube channel, like it, share it, and again thank you for attending this session. See you in the next session. Thank you.